What's up, guys? It's me, and it's coffee time, and we're hanging out, having a grand old time. I woke up with a headache, so it automatically turned into one of those I don't care days. So I put on the distracting hat and the really big shirt, and I'm like, meh, I'm just gonna hang out. If I end up wanting to do something, it's just gonna be going to Fry's and getting a headset because I really want one. I don't have a headset. I have a huge set of headphones, but I don't actually have a headset, which is really, really sad. And since I'm starting to live stream and I want to start live streaming gameplay, I'm like, I should really have a headset. So I'm planning on getting that at some point. I wanted to get it today, but if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to give myself too much crap about it. I'm just going to let it keep on happening. So that's my day so far. But last night I actually got really productive. You might have seen, there's a video on Press Start to Continue of me making a little purse with Link on it. A friend of mine linked me to a bunch of pictures of little animals, little felt animals, and I was like, oh, they're so cute! And I have a bunch of leftover felt from a different project that I did, so I was like, I could make a little felt something on one of my purses, because I have a bunch of purses, but I don't use all of them, so it's like, oh, I should make these worthwhile. But it's not done, well, it's as done as I needed it to be for the, I'm just gonna grab it. It's as done as I needed it to be for the video, but I want to add to it. So, this is it. So there's a little Link, and I want to give him a sword, and I want to put Navi right there, and then put a big old Triforce on the back. And I'm not gonna make another video of it, but I'll probably just take like, here's the final project pictures, and then put them on my Facebook or something. A bunch of people were saying that they think I should make videos when I do a live stream, like make a quick video being like, hey guys, guess what? I'm gonna live stream. I find it a lot easier to just use Facebook, so if you're not with me on Facebook, you should join me on Facebook, because it's super, super easy way for me to be like, hey guys, guess what? I'm gonna live stream tomorrow. So that's what I'm hoping will be the easiest way to do that in the future, but we'll see. But I'm enjoying it so far. A lot of you... So, I was messing around, we were messing around last night trying to figure out how to get me to be able to film from my PS3, because I stole the HD PVR from work, brought it home, there was a cord missing, I found out that I had the cord that was missing, and I was like, yes, and I hooked it all up, but now I don't have a little compatibility splitter that takes your 3 prongs to a 5 prong. But I was like originally messing around with the emulator that I have, and then it accidentally made like a 13-second video on my live stream of just my emulator sitting there being like, hey, I'm pointless, and I went, crap. So yeah, if you saw that, that was accidental. But no worries. It's no big, right? And stuff. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Oh, okay. So while I was making my little Link on the purse, I started watching this show that people have been telling me over and over and over again that I need to watch. Specifically, people from my college town, my theater department, were saying that there's a show called Slings and Arrows that's based in Canada, and it's just a gorgeous show. And I was like, all right, well, what's it about? And they said, well, it's about theater, but it's like really smart. It's presented in a very smart way, where like if you're part of theater, you like instantly connect with it. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So it's on Netflix Instant Queue, which is why they found it in the first place. And so I started watching it, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, the very first episode, within the first, like, half hour of the first episode, I was just like, I texted my friend, like, totally ashamed, being like, might be tearing up a little watching this show. And he was like, yeah, you are. I bet you are. It's such a good show. Yeah, it's basically, like... what it's about sounds hilarious, and it is hilarious, but I feel like it's one of those shows where, like, if you don't care about theater, you wouldn't necessarily care about this show. Like, everything is so spot on that it's almost too specific, I feel like. But the whole concept of it is that there's a guy who runs this theater and he passes away, and so this crazy guy ends up taking over, but he sees the ghost of the dude who used to own it, and they used to be friends, but then they hated each other, and like, oh god, it's so funny. And so like he always ends up seeing this ghost at really awkward times and like yelling at it, and everybody gets super uncomfortable and like leaves. It's so good. But I don't know. It's one of those things where like when I was watching it, I had to pause it for a while and be like, I miss theater so much. I miss it so much. Like there's working with like film people more since I've been here. Like everybody really enjoys it and they have a lot of fun with it, and I appreciate that. But that musty dark feeling that you get when you're doing theater is so different, and it's such a nostalgic feeling for me that I just miss it so much. It's great. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else really to say about that, but I got super nostalgic last night, and I was like, oh, what if I never do theater again? But then I had to be like, buck up. If you want to do theater, you can do theater. It's not a big deal. And then I went, no, you're right, Dodge. And I went, yeah, Dodge. Figured out and stuff. So that was my evening. Making a link purse and having an emotional breakdown. Not really. I'm going to add a little bit more agave to this. Not because it's not sweet, but it's just not enough for me yet. So I'm just gonna, just a little bit more. Okay. We'll taste that, see how that goes. Did I ever tell you guys that the actual part of the coffee pot that's supposed to catch the coffee, I like shattered on the sink? Whoop. I was washing it and I like, something made me laugh and I just like, psh, like just slammed it against the side of the sink and it just shattered everywhere, and I went, this was within the first like week. So ever since then, I crumple up a towel on the actual like base, because the base like heats up and I don't want my cups to like get hurt. So I like take one of the kitchen towels and crumple it up on the bottom, and then take my coffee cup and just lean it in there and just let the coffee like dribble into my cup. It's so ridiculous, but just makes me laugh every time I have to do it. Especially since you never know when you're gonna accidentally have it overflow, which is why I started using a different thing and then pouring it into my cup. But yeah, because originally, you don't want to hear about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Originally, I was filling up my cup and then being like, okay, that's the amount of water that I'm going to use, and then just pouring from my cup into the thing. But what I always forget is that it heats up the water so much that like a decent amount of it turns into steam. So then I would only have like this much coffee. So then I was like, oh, well, I should probably start doing this differently. But I don't have the skills. Sorry, I thought that this just, or did it? I thought that this like attacked the microphone. Can you tell I'm like slightly out of it today? Just slightly. It's not a big deal. Someday I should finish the Dark Materials books. I'm not good at reading. Well, I'm good. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. I'm a good reader. Like, I was in advanced reading classes and stuff. What I'm not good at is sticking with a story. Because my big issue is that I sit with the book and I'll read the first like 20 or 30 pages. And if it doesn't have me by then, I'm done. I set it off to the side. And if it's an entire series of books, if I somehow manage to finish the first book, even if I liked it a lot, I'll be like, oh, then I have to buy the second book, or I have to borrow the second book. There's a lot of time in between. I won't even remember what's going on. So really, I mean, should I read the second one? Who really cares? I could just read a summary, right? Part of the youth of this generation that is just destroying books. Maybe someday I'll be a better person. Probably not. But hey, I can read comic books in like an hour. Well, by comic books, I should say graphic novels. I used to read comic books on the drive home, which was like 15 minutes. My mom and I would buy a comic book, and then I'd be like, she'd be like, no, save that for when you get home. Because I'd always get really disappointed by the time I got home and I was already done with my comic book. How long have I been talking? Over 10 minutes. Again, I'm just gonna aim for 10 minutes now. How does that sound? You're all going, no, sounds bad. You're boring. Okay. Well, let's round up this fun nonsense. And hopefully I'll get a headset today. But if I don't, you should know I'm going to be generally boring, possibly playing Arkham Asylum, and just hanging out and having a good day. So hopefully you guys do the same.